Where are my damn moron sons? Black Walder and Lothar promised to be here by midday.
They're here, my lord.
Hey, what's good, Game of Thrones fans? This is the Campfire Crew, and we're here to talk about Season 6, Episode 10, the finale. And man, what a doozy it was. We got so much stuff going on. We had some Frey pie, everything going down. We're going to talk about it, people. The board has been set. So let's break down these pieces. I'm Campfire Rich.
And I'm Campfire Nate, and we're here to talk about moment number one, and that was the huge Cersei plot. Okay, now we've kind of suspected this, all right? We've already done videos about this. What is Cersei going to do? But what they did was a great job of still leaving you with suspense. Okay, you weren't sure when it was going to happen. You weren't exactly sure what was going to take place, but the way they laid it out, I loved it. You had Loras, you had him in there, you had him confessing. The moment when they were like putting the star on his forehead and his dad over there like flipping out, I thought that was great. And then, you know, they go after like, where's Cersei at? I don't know. But when you saw, Zombie Mountain basically keeping Tomen from leaving, you kind of got the feeling that you knew what was going on. Yeah, it was what we thought. But I still love the way they played it all out. You had Lancel trying to try to figure out what was going on, and the little birds kind of like, taking him and moving him places, and you took him down there and he's not sure what's going on. He's getting stabbed, while at the same time we see Pycelle getting led down by more little birds, and the little birds killing him, and it was graphic. He almost kind of was like, wait, old Pycelle, I forgot what was going on with him. He gets the crap murdered out of him. Lancel gets stabbed, and then that moment where he's crawling, trying to see what's at the end, and then he sees what it is, and then it's like, you almost get that feeling like Marjorie's the only one that kind of knows what's going on. She's like, wait, something's not right. She's trying to tell the High Sparrow. They're all trying to get out of there, and then...
Man, I knew it was coming, but I was still just in awe by the way everything played out. I mean, seeing his face and having it all go up in smoke was like, oh man. But was Cersei done? Oh, no. Cersei wasn't done. She still had to deal with that check. Septa Unela, Vanilla Canella. I don't know what her name is. It doesn't matter. She had her tied up to the bench. She's pouring wine on her face. She's just saying, confess. Confess. Man, let me ask you a question, man. Can anybody do revenge like Cersei? There'll be a strong case made later that there is somebody else who can rival her. But man, when she puts something together and she goes in, she goes all in. But it was awesome. I mean, she's sitting there confessing to this chick, which is really what they wanted ultimately. So Cersei confesses all right. And she's like, it actually can be quite liberating under the right circumstances. And this chick, man, she just crushes her spirits when she's like, I'm ready to meet my God. She's like,
I'm ready to meet the gods.
Oh, today? No, you're not going to die today. You're going to live for quite some time.
Today? You're not going to die today. You're not going to die for quite a while.
This is Zombie Mountain. He is your God now.
This is
Zombie Mountain.
This is your god now.
And then she leaves and the chick screaming, and it was crazy. I loved it. And then we cut over to Tomen. Tomen? I get in trouble for saying his name wrong. I'm not from Westeros. I don't know these people's names. Tomen. Okay? He's over there looking scared. He's sitting there literally like, what do I do now? My mommy just checkmated my tail like a boss. Tomen.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Moment number 2.
All right, now we get to see our favorite thing that we haven't seen since season 1, and that's Dorne. And everyone's like, oh, great, Dorne. When they put back to Dorne, I was already upset. But this actually was a really good scene. And the scene is poor Lady Olenna. I mean, she's dressed in black. I mean, she's desperate. She's just lost her entire family. She wants revenge. She's ready to go on the warpath. And she found some other women who, equally hate the Lannisters as much as she does. What was great about this was just her interaction. Seeing these girls try to, talk to her. I loved it when Obara is trying to talk to her and she basically tells her that she looks like a sad little boy or an angry little boy or something, just shuts her down. Everyone who starts to talk, she's just like, shut up, let the adults talk.
You look like an angry little boy. Don't presume to tell me what I need.
Forgive my sister. What she lacks in diplomacy, she
Do
makes...
shut up, dear. Anything from you? No. Good. Let the grown women speak.
I love Lady Olenna, and I love her interaction. And it was great as she's talking to them. She's basically like, well, guess what? I got a plan. And here he is. Varys enters the scene. Absolutely fantastic. Moment number 3.
Dany prepares for Westeros. She has a few final things she has to take care of before she leaves. One of those things is she has to break up with her boo, Dario. Now, this guy is not thrilled by this at all. And you know what? I wouldn't either, because I bet she was some fire, if you know what I mean. Anyway, this dude's pleading. He's like, please don't leave me behind. I don't care if I'm your mistress. I don't care who's sitting next to you. I make you happy. I'm just curious, do you think this is the end for Dario? I mean, Marine's wrapped up. It's pretty much taken care of. I don't really see a need for us to revisit Marine or talk about Marine or anything else. And if he gets left behind, do you think this is kind of it for his character? Do we need him in the season to come? Do you think we'll see him again? Wasn't sure, I was just curious what you thought. The second thing that Dany has to do is make Tyrion hand to the queen. This excited me. This was a smart move by her part. I mean, we remember how effective and efficient Tyrion was as hand to the king before. He seemed to really thrive in this role, and this was maybe one of the moments when I liked Tyrion long ago, but I really enjoyed seeing him hand to the king because it gave him new life and new purpose. He really took his responsibility to heart, and he did it with such a good job. And this was for a king he did not believe in. The speech that he gives to Dany was just like, I've never believed in anything or anyone, not even myself, but I believe in you.
I believe in you.
And how much more effective do we think Tyrion's going to be to Dany as hand to the queen? I can't wait to see that combination of those two continue on in the future. But dadgummit, if it doesn't put me at a crossroads, look, I'm for the Starks, okay? Jon Snow's my boy. I got his back. I'm pulling for them. But I love Tyrion, and this makes me want to pull for Dany. The show's back to a point where you have multiple storylines and multiple characters that you kind of root for and that you can see playing out in multiple different ways. So you have a lot of different possible outcomes, and it leaves us with a sense of uncertainty as to what's actually going to happen, and that's exciting. Moment number 4.
And Frey eats his own kids. That's right. Aria has now put herself, I believe, a step ahead of Cersei as being the revenge master, okay? She has literally been vicious, unbelievably vicious. I love this scene all the way around. I love the nod to the Manderleys and the Freys in the pie, that whole situation. Book readers are like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I love that. I love the pie. I love when he was like, where are my kids? Where, and she's like, they're right there in front of you.
Here, my lord.
And then he looks down, man, and there's a toe. I mean, it was awful and great all at the same time. And I loved when she pulled the face back and what she says to him, the last thing you're going to see is a Stark looking down at you and just slits his throat.
The last thing you're ever going to see is a Stark smiling down at you
as you die.
It was fantastic. Every bit of it, I loved every moment of that scene. I probably will watch the scene 30 times over and over and over again. I'm probably going to get it, put it on my phone so I can watch it whenever I want. But it was the very best thing. To moment number 5.
Littlefinger gets friend-zoned by Sansa. Sansa and Littlefinger have this little moment where they're talking and he tells her his actual plan and his thoughts, which is he envisions himself sitting on the Iron Throne with Sansa by his side. I mean, he goes on to even confess that every action that he has taken has been to make this picture that he has put up in his head a reality. After being denied by Sansa, he goes back to what he does best, which is now planting seeds of distrust between Sansa and Jon. He goes on to say that you are the future of House Stark. Who should the North rally behind? A true Stark born here in Winterfell, or a motherless bastard born in the South? Now, we will be doing a full video about Lord Peter Baelish, because this scene, combined with some other scenes, speaks volumes about the problems that he can and likely will cause in next season. There's so much more that we could glean from this comment and from this scene and from other ones that it's just going to get its own video just about Littlefinger. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video, because it's going to be awesome. Moment number 6.
r+l+j. That's right. We finally got to see the second half to the Tower of Joy. Bran is there. He's there to watch, see what's going to happen, and what many people for 20 years plus have been wondering and pretty much assuming. We finally got to see what it was. And that's, you got Lyanna, she's sitting there, she's bleeding, she's talking to Ned. She tells Ned to make a promise, and it's to watch over a baby.
You have to protect him. Promise me, Ned.
And I love the way they cut this. I love the way they had the baby looking, and then the baby opens his eyes, and bam, it immediately cuts to Jon. It was one of the best ways they could have possibly done it. I loved every single minute of it. On to moment number 7.
King of the North.
The King in the North!
I honestly don't know which scene I liked better from this episode. The awe from Cersei's revenge, the shock and excitement I got from seeing Aria, or the chills I got from everyone's new favorite character, Lady Mormont. This scene opens with bickering about fighting with wildlings and the war's over, winter's come, we should go home and relax and wait for winter or whatever. And Jon delivers a great line, which brings us back to reality and allows us to focus on what's important.
The war is not over. And I promise you, friend, the true enemy won't wait out the storm. He brings the storm.
This causes some rumblings because people either don't believe him or they're just not really concerned with the fact that there's an army of undead marching toward them to wipe them out. It always amazes me that like this isn't always the focus point. Like she'd be like, yo, there's dead people coming. The White Walkers are here. I fought them. They're on their way. We need to store up some dragon glass. We need to get some Valyrian steel. We need to prepare. But this opens the door for Lady Mormont to stand up and powerfully and forcefully with authority check everyone in that hall. I mean, she calls out everybody, and it was great. This is probably my favorite speech out of this whole episode, and to be quite honest with you, maybe one of my favorite speeches ever, because I went back and watched it again, and I got chills a second time. It's just so powerful.
You refused the call. Your son was butchered at the Red Wedding, Lord Manderley. But you refused the call. You swore allegiance to House Stark, Lord Glover. But in their hour of greatest need, you refused the call. And you, Lord Qyburn, your father was skinned alive by Ramsay Bolton. Still, you refused the call. House Mormont remembers. The North remembers. We know no king, but the king in the North whose name is Stark. I don't care if he's a bastard. Ned Stark's blood runs through his veins. He's my king, from this day until his last day.
Yeah, as they declared him as the King of the North, I couldn't help from imagine the similarities between, you know, we've seen this before. We've seen Robb, where it was like King of the North for Robb, and everything went bad for Robb, and you can't help from feeling that because you got Littlefinger over there just kind of lurking in the corner, you know, with this look on his face, and Sansa looking at him like Sansa realized the threat that he is. But I think it's interesting, and my wife brought this point up, was that is Littlefinger at the point where you think he can completely manipulate Sansa? Do you think he can make Sansa cause a problem with Jon at this point? I mean, he already pretty much did. She already lied to him. And, you know, even though they've said, well, we can't lie to each other anymore, you know, we got to be honest, I still feel like Littlefinger is still there. He still is a threat. And I don't know if that spells good things for Sansa. I feel like Sansa is in some trouble, and so is Jon. But at the same time, that's for a whole nother season that we have plenty of time to talk about. But on to moment number 8.
Cersei is queen and Dany is on her way. Jaime rides back just in time to see the Septa up in smoke and then to see Cersei take the Iron Throne. The look that he gives is not one of joy. He actually looks very upset and even scared. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Cersei's kids are gone, and that was the one thing that kind of allowed her to be human and even show restraint at times, right? She was always worried about her kids and stuff like that. They're gone. She has nothing to lose anymore. All she has is power. She's on the throne, and that's a scary thought. I ultimately think that this is going to be the undoing of Jaime and Cersei's relationship. I mean, he just kind of gave her this look like she's the new Mad King now. It was kind of scary. We still think that he's probably going to be the one that ends up killing her, but that's just the second piece of this game. The first being Jon Snow, King of the North. The second, Cersei, Queen of King's Landing. And now we've got third, that's Dany, on the way home to claim her throne. How intimidating would it be to look out and see all those ships coming on into the bay? You know, with the Targaryen sails, that's something that people haven't seen for many years. So imagine the shock that people are going to get when they see that, like, oh my goodness, a Targaryen is coming back. And then, oh look, dragons flying overhead. That would scare me, because who does Cersei really got? She doesn't have anybody. I mean, she's got her own army, which at this point, her own little army, and that's it. I mean, she's over King's Landing. She ain't got nobody in the north. The Freys are filleted. She doesn't have nobody. I mean, everybody is against her and has abandoned her. The only ally I can see her having is Euron Greyjoy. We didn't see him. You know why? Because there was no point. His people are still sitting around banging on hammers, building ships. Them fools are going to be building ships until the end of next season. But I can see them rallying the call to Cersei, because it's too late for him to go to Dany. I don't think that's going to happen. He has no interest in going to Winterfell. He doesn't believe they have enough power. He's going to go to Cersei, I believe, and team up with her. That's the only thing that really makes logical sense. Plus, he does have ships. So, I mean, it looks like we're going to get another ship battle. I don't know how I guess he's going to have 1,000 ships, but those dragons should take care of that. Anyway, guys, those are our moments that we talked about. The finale was amazing. So much stuff happened, and there was so much stuff that we left out. So comment down in the section below, what was your favorite scene that happened in the finale? Might go down as one of the greatest finales in Game of Thrones. I'd have to go back and watch them, but man, this really delivered every way that it needed to. Got a lot of questions left to answer, a lot of predictions, a lot more videos coming about Game of Thrones from us. So make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel so that you can be the first to watch those awesome videos. Until next time, guys, I'm out.